They always think it's coming later, don't they? That the sky will crack open tomorrow or next week, or when they've had time to clean up their mess. But no one ever expects it to start while they're sipping coffee, scrolling their little screens, pretending the world isn't trembling under their feet. They laugh at the chaos, mock the signs, call it conspiracy, until the fire gets close enough to burn their fingertip. Then they look up, eyes wide, mouths silent, because deep down they always knew it couldn't stay quiet forever. The cracks were already there, in the streets, in the laws, in the dreams they were sold. And now, you know, it's funny, people walk through life pretending everything's fine. Smile here, wave there, scroll a little, nod politely, maybe cry in the shower if they're feeling spicy. But the signs? Oh, the signs. They've been dancing around like circus clowns, neon bright, blinking, screaming, actually, but no one listens. You tell them, hey, something's off. Doesn't this feel wrong? And they look at you like you're the crazy one. Isn't that rich? See, comfort is a hell of a drug. Makes you dull. Makes you forget that the world doesn't owe you peace. That the structure you lean on can crumble in seconds. But you don't see that, do you? Not when your fridge is full, your lights turn on, your phone unlocks with your face. Ah, the illusion of control. Delicious and deadly. The truth is, people didn't want to see it. That's the secret. They weren't blind. They chose to be. It's easier that way. Ignorance is a warm blanket on a cold night. And the signs just became background noise. Another conspiracy, another TikTok rant, another street preacher with a cardboard sign. But what if one of them was right? What if the guy with the wild eyes and the trembling voice actually knew something? You'd laugh him off, wouldn't you? But now it's different. Because now the signs aren't just whispers. They're shouting through sirens. They're etched into your news feed, pounding on your doors, slipping into your dreams. You feel it, don't you? That little twitch in your gut, that itch behind your eyes, that pulse in your neck that tells you something big is moving, and it's not asking for your approval, and it's not coming, it's here, right now. While you're sipping coffee or doom scrolling through another tragedy, something is shifting beneath your feet. You think the system is strong enough to hold it? Cute. Look around. The cracks are widening. The chaos is organized now. Strategic. Like it's been waiting, planning. And the funny part? It was never hiding. It was in the open the whole time, like a masked performer in a ballroom of sleepwalkers. You want to know when it started? Doesn't matter. You missed the moment anyway. It didn't need fireworks or dramatic music. It started when people stopped paying attention, when survival became second to entertainment, when likes became louder than screams. That's when the tide shifted, quietly, subtly. And now, oh now it's waking up. But you're still pretending, aren't you? Still hoping someone else will fix it. That some vote or law or prayer will wrap it all up in a neat little box. You're clinging to comfort like it's a life raft. But here's the twist. Comfort doesn't save you. It traps you, chains you, makes you weak. You don't see it until it's too late. Until the water's up to your neck, and you're still smiling because the news told you it's just a phase. Funny how people would rather believe a beautiful lie than a hideous truth. But guess what? The lie doesn't care about you. Never did. It just needed your attention long enough to keep the truth buried. And now the truth is clawing its way out, and it's not wearing a suit or carrying a clipboard. No. It's messy. It's raw. It's real. And it's already here. So keep ignoring it. Keep scrolling, keep laughing, but deep down, you know. You feel it. That pressure building, that static in the air. The signs weren't lying. They were just tired of being ignored. Now they're done playing nice. Now they've kicked the door in and said showtime. Ever notice how the ones who scream the loudest about freedom are the first to lock themselves in cages? Hilarious, really. They dress those cages up, paint them gold, slap on a label, career, reputation, stability, but a cage is still a cage, darling, and they smile behind the bars like it's a 5-star resort. It's not. It's a prison made of fear. And the funny part is, they built it themselves, brick by brick. With every yes they didn't mean, every dream they buried, every truth they swallowed, just to keep the peace. But here's the twist. When someone does escape, when someone breaks the pattern, they call him crazy, dangerous, unstable, not because he's wrong, but because he reminds them they had a choice. That's the real madness, isn't it? The idea that you could have left, could have lived, could have burned the rulebook, but didn't. Oh, that stings. That truth, it cuts deeper than any knife. You know what they really fear? Not death, not pain, not even failure. They fear freedom. The raw, wild, unpredictable kind. The kind that doesn't come with a map or applause. The kind that laughs at social norms and kicks tradition in the teeth. Because freedom means responsibility. It means owning every consequence. It means no more excuses. No more blaming the government, the parents, the weather, or Mercury in retrograde. And that's terrifying. Because if they accept that truth, then they've got no one left to blame but themselves. So they'd rather stay asleep, pretend, play nice, obey. And the system, oh, it loves that. It thrives on obedient little puppets who dance to the same tired tune. But every now and then, one of them wakes up. One of them hears the silence between the noise. And once you hear it, you can't once you see it, you can't go back to pretending. They'll try to drag you back, of course, with guilt, with shame, with their dead-eyes stares and their hollow concern. Are you okay, they ask, when what they really mean is, why aren't you miserable like us? They don't want your happiness. They want your conformity. Misery loves company, after all, and there's nothing more threatening than someone who's truly, unapologetically free. So what do? They weaponize normal, make it the standard, the goal, the religion. And if you don't fit the mold, they crucify you on the altar of concern. How dare you laugh too loud, love too hard, dream too big? Don't you know you're supposed to shrink, to blend in, to fade like the rest of them? But you didn't. You chose fire. You chose madness. You chose truth. And that is unforgivable. Because the moment you step outside the cage, you become a mirror. And nobody likes to look in the mirror when it shows them what they've become. That reflection, it's ugly, it's honest, and it hurts. So they'll call you names, label you, mock you. But secretly, they envy you. They wish they had your courage, your recklessness, your refusal to bow. But don't expect applause. Heroes don't get statues until they're dead. While you're alive, you're a threat, a virus in their perfect little program, a glitch in the system. And the system doesn't like glitches. It erases them, silences them, buries them under pills and policies and polite conversation. But what they don't realize is you can't kill an idea. You can't cage a wildfire. You can't drown a voice that's already learned how to scream without sound. So let them stare. Let them whisper. Let them throw their stones from the safety of their glass houses. You know what's real. You know what's waiting on the other side of fear. And once you taste that kind of freedom, the kind that makes your hands tremble and your heart race, you'll never go back. You'll never fit in. You'll never shrink again. And maybe, just maybe, that's the point. You ever watch someone smile when they're falling apart? It's a masterpiece. The way their lips curl just right while their eyes scream for help. Bravo! A standing ovation for the pain you'll never see unless you look closely enough. They'll dress it up, of course. Hide it under expensive clothes, loud laughter, and photos with perfect lighting. But behind it, behind it is a war, a quiet little battlefield where every breath is a negotiation and every morning feels like a dare. They've mastered it, the art of pretending, of walking through fire without leaving footprints. They've learned how to cry silently, how to scream behind a smile, how to bleed internally without staining their shirt. And you walked past them today, didn't you? Gave them a nod, a how are you, without listening for the answer. Because deep down, you already knew. But it's easier not to ask, easier to play the part in this little show we call society. People like that, the ones who've suffered too much, they glow differently. Not bright like a spotlight, no, more like a flickering candle in a haunted house. Soft, unsteady, but stubborn. You can see it in their eyes. A kind of depth that only pain can carve. You can hear it in their voice, a tremble stitched together with defiance. And then they could act. It's like a twitch. Damn it. They're not broken. Don't get it twisted. They're reforged. Like steel that's been through hell and came out sharper. They don't panic in chaos because chaos is home. They don't flinch at heartbreak because they've lived with one too many. And they don't fear the dark because, honey, they are the dark. Not the kind that destroys, the kind that understands, that listens, that these people, they notice everything, every shift in tone, every fake smile, every lie wrapped in politeness. They've been lied to by lovers, betrayed by friends, ignored by family, and still manage to keep breathing, still manage to show up, to care, to hope. That's not weakness. That's madness disguised as grace. And the world doesn't know what to do with people like that. Because you can't manipulate someone who's already danced with demons. You can't scare someone who's lived in fear for years and called it home. You can't break someone who's already been shattered and glued themselves back together piece by jagged piece. No, these people aren't victims. They're warriors with invisible armor and untold stories. They don't want your pity. They want your realness. They want your truth. But most can't give that. Too busy hiding, too scared to be seen. So they look at these souls and call them too much, too intense, too emotional, too honest. Isn't it funny how truth becomes a weapon when spoken by the wrong lips? How emotion becomes a flaw when it can't be controlled? Society would rather numb them, medicate them, silence them, because their fire threatens to expose all the ice hiding underneath everyone else's skin. But let me tell you a secret. These people, the ones who've suffered too much, they're the reason this world still spins. They're the ones who catch others when they fall, even when their own hands are shaking. They're the ones who give, even when they have nothing left, because they remember what it feels like to be forgotten, what it feels like to scream into silence, what it feels like to beg for a break and get betrayal instead. So the next time you meet someone with tired eyes and a kind heart, don't ask them why they're so quiet. Don't ask them why they're so guarded. Just sit, just stay, just be there. Because sometimes survival doesn't look like shouting. It looks like staying soft in a world that hardened you. It looks like showing up when you've got every reason to disappear. It looks like whispering, "I'm fine," when you're anything but. And if you're one of them, if you're one of the bruised, the bent, the not quite broken, don't you dare think you're weak. You're dangerous. You're art. You're proof that even hell has survivors. And when the world tries to label you, laugh. Laugh loud, because labels are for shells, not for souls like yours. Oh, this one's a treat, isn't it? You know who they are. The ones who laugh just a little too hard, who stare just a little too long, who flinch at kindness like it's a slap. They walk through life like ghosts wearing human skin, perfectly dressed but spiritually barefoot, tiptoeing across shards of old memories like it's a dance. And yet, they don't fall. They don't scream. They keep going because they've been to that place. That lovely little hellhole where silence rings louder than screams. And the only thing that hugs you at night is your own shadow. It's easy to spot them if you really look. They're the ones who don't look away when someone's crying. They don't rush to change the subject. They sit in the dark with you and say nothing, not because they don't care, but because they know words are useless when your soul's already cracked. They've been there. They know that pain is fluent in silence, that sometimes the best response is a heartbeat that doesn't leave. Ever wonder why their eyes look older than the rest of them? Like they've seen a few more winters than their age should allow? That's not age, that's experience. That's what happens when you've lived 3 lifetimes in a single decade, when the people who were supposed to love you did the most damage, when apologies never came, and closure was just a fancy word used by people who got lucky. They learned to stop asking why me a long time ago, because no one ever had an answer. They just got tired of screaming into the void and decided if no one was going to save them, then maybe, just maybe, they'd save themselves. And it wasn't pretty. It wasn't some Instagram-worthy journey with inspirational music in the background. No, it was ugly. It was raw. It was crawling across the floor at 2 a.m. praying to a ceiling fan that never answered. They got tough, but not in the way you think. Not the loud, punch-the-wall kind of tough. They got soft. Softer than anyone expected. Because real strength isn't built in the gym. It's built in the aftermath. It's born when you love again after betrayal, when you trust again after lies, when you smile with a mouth full of scars. That's the kind of strength that rattles bones, the kind that makes people uncomfortable, the kind that reminds everyone else what they're running from, and they don't play the game anymore. The one where you pretend everything's fine, where you trade pieces of your soul just to fit in, where you say yes when your gut's screaming no. Nope, they walked away from that table, flipped it even, because playing nice got them nowhere. Being real, that's where the magic started. That's when they found people who saw them, not just the mask, not just the smile, but the whole storm underneath. They know how to lose everything and keep breathing. That's a terrifying skill to have, because once you've been through enough loss, you stop fearing it. You stop clinging. You start walking lighter, not because you're careless, but because you've carried too much for too long. You start seeing life for what it is, a temporary circus with actors pretending they aren't afraid, but the ones who've suffered too much, they know fear by name, and they still show up, still fight, still dare to hope. They give the kind of love that's dangerous, not because it's wild, but because it's honest. They don't play games. Don't leave you guessing. They'll tell you they care, even if their voice shakes. They'll stand by you when everyone else vanishes. But cross them? Hurt them? Oh, that's a different story. Forgiveness isn't weakness for them, it's exhaustion. They've given too many chances to people who thought love was a transaction. So now, they choose. Carefully, deliberately. And when they let you in, you better know what it cost. They don't chase anymore, they attract. Why? Because survival taught them self-worth. The hard way, through betrayal, through abandonment, through moments when they almost gave up. So now they walk like they own the ground they stand on. Not out of pride, but out of survival. They earned that walk. Every step is a victory. Every breath is rebellion. People always ask them, how do you do it? How do you smile like that after everything? And they just laugh. A quiet, knowing laugh. Because the real answer, it's not that they can, it's that they have to. There's no other option. Not when you've already been to the bottom. Not when you've met your monsters and learned their names. Not when you've sat in the darkness so long that now you call it home. Ah, the fifth one, the juicy one, the kind they never talk about but feel deep in their bones. You know the ones. They flinch when you compliment them, shrug when you praise them, laugh it off like it's no big deal, not because they don't appreciate it, but because deep inside they still hear the echo of every voice that told them they'd never be good enough. And that echo, oh, it's loud. It's the soundtrack of their sleepless nights. You see, some people weren't built by comfort. They were carved by chaos, forged in fire, tempered in heartbreak. Their strength isn't from the gym. It's from surviving the kind of nights that make you question your own reflection. They've mastered the art of pretending. Oh yeah, Oscar-worthy performances every single day. They laugh at jokes that aren't funny, nod along to conversations they aren't even present for, smile when they're dying inside, and no one notices because they're that good at hiding, because the world applauds masks, not faces, and baby, they've been wearing that mask so long they almost forgot what their real face looks like. But here's the twist. Beneath all that pain, there's a heart that still beats. A heart that refuses to give up. A heart that's been broken so many times it should be dust by now, but somehow it still pumps, still hopes, still dreams. It's not naivety, it's defiance. It's the middle finger to every betrayal, every letdown, every fake friend, every slammed door. They're still standing, not because they haven't been knocked down, but because they got tired of staying on the floor. They've become allergic to shallow people. You know, the ones who ask, "How are you?" but don't want the real answer. The ones who ghost you when you get too deep. The ones who preach about healing but panic when they see your scars. Nah, these souls crave depth. They don't do small talk. They want soul talk. They want to know your wounds, not your resume. They want the truth, even if it's ugly. Especially if it's ugly. Because beauty without truth, that's just decoration. They talk to themselves more than they talk to anyone else, not because they're crazy, well, maybe a little, but because they've learned the hard way that sometimes the only voice that saves you is your own. They coach themselves through breakdowns, cheer themselves on in the mirror, cry, wipe the tears, and say, "We've been through worse." And somehow that tiny pep talk at 2:14 a.m. becomes the reason they make it through another day. Oh, and loyalty? That's sacred to them. Not because it's trendy, but because they know what it feels like to be abandoned. So when they love you, it's not halfway. It's ride or die, no sleep till you're okay kind of love. It's dangerous love. The kind that scares cowards, because they'll see through your lies, hold space for your pain, and still call you out when you start sinking into your own darkness. They don't let people drown silently, not after they had to learn to swim with bricks tied to their ankles. They remember everything. Every laugh, every tear, every time someone said, "I'm here for you," and vanished when things got ugly. They don't hold grudges. No, they hold lessons. They file every betrayal into their soul's library and read those pages when someone starts acting familiar. You think they're paranoid? Nah, they're just experienced. They've seen this movie before and they know how it ends. So they carry scissors in their hearts, ready to cut off the next actor who tries to rewrite their script. They love solitude more than company, not because they hate people, but because they learned that silence doesn't betray you. They'd rather be alone than with someone who makes them feel alone. They light candles for themselves, cook for one, and sleep like warriors. Not because they're lonely, but because peace isn't found in crowds. It's found in self-acceptance. And they've made peace with their past. Maybe not all of it, but enough to not let it control them. They are the ones who don't chase trends, they chase healing. While the world runs after aesthetics, they run toward authenticity. While others post highlight reels, they live through behind-the-scenes breakdowns. But the best part? They keep going. Broken ribs, cracked smiles, shattered dreams, and still they keep going. Not for applause, not for recognition, but because somewhere deep inside that stitched-up soul there's still a flicker of belief that maybe, just maybe, something good is waiting on the other side of all this madness.